Alright guys, so what's up today? We have another video today. It's a little windy. Sorry, there we go. It's a little windy. But pretty much today's video is we're going to figure out what we're going to do for the trailer. Now we have a few things that just came in recently. I haven't even opened it up, the packages yet, so I'm excited to show you guys just as I'm excited to see. But what we are going to do right now, we have to start the Genesis up. We're probably going to move a few vehicles around, hook up the truck to the trailer, get that all situated, and then we're going to see if we can back this thing up about right here or so, just so we can get to it. So without further ado, let's get started with today's video. Alright, so this is the trailer that I have. Now, I never made a video actually when I purchased this trailer. I purchased this last year. This is a 2020 18 foot long. It's 18 foot long, so 16 feet with a 2-foot dovetail in the back. We recently just laid a deck stain over it just to put some texture on the actual wood so it doesn't dry rot or get moldy. This trailer is pretty much brand new, hasn't done anything on it. Only thing I did buy was actually these D-rings adapters. They're pretty much just go right into your stake pocket, just because there's no D-rings on here for securing down the car. But today we're going to be upgrading this trailer, doing a few different mods to this. But this is my trailer. We'll be having this for a long time. I purchased this thing brand new. It's a really good trailer. It's nice. It is a BigTex trailer. I don't really know. It's 7,000 pound GVW. It's perfect rated for my car. Nothing more, nothing less. Only issue is with my height of the car. These ramps have this type of bar style, and I purchased these aluminum ramps to make it easier. They're a lot longer than the stock ones, but they do not mount up to the trailer. But the goal is to mod on. We bought some we purchased some railings for these to mount on, which I'll show you in a second. So those we have to cut, place one on this side, place one on that side, pretty much it was going to get rid of this bar. Of course, it'll be there to use with the original ramps, which are on each side, one on that side, one on that side. But there's no use to use that with these. They're a lot lighter. You could pick up both of these with two hands, as if that one you can only pick up with one at a time. All right, so no further ado, let's get this going. Alright guys, so here's a full setup of what we have going on now. Before we get started, I just wanted to say I actually went to go test fit this toolbox in the front, and it is actually too big, whereas it fits, but I'm not able to crank the jack up and down on it. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do. Most likely I got to send that back and get a different one. Of course, it was expensive / cheap at the same time. But I wouldn't just bought it because I thought it would help out and just get everything done. It is the color that I wanted. It is bigger than what I needed, but you know what they say, bigger is always better. But besides that, so that's going to be shipped back. We have our set of D-rings. Now, I didn't show you guys before, but I went ahead and bought these cool set of D-rings like I showed you. I think I showed you guys earlier. You know, they're just a little add-on. Has a little clip, a handle right here. Very simple design, and they go right into your stake pockets. If you guys haven't seen these, they're definitely really nice to have as a backup. I was going to keep a pair or so in there, just as when I mark my car. Now, of course, before you weld these D-rings, you want to have your car situated so you know where your straps are going to be. This one is a little bit too far forward, as in my back rear wheel sits about right here in this area. So having that angle, I'm not really a fan. So my goal is to weld a D-ring, which is over here. Just weld them on the outside and the back, just so I can get a better degree angle on it, which will help strap it down better just for when we start doing the road trips and stuff like that. The main goal for this thing is to have this thing situated so we could just roll our car on here, strap her down, and hit the road. Third thing that we went ahead and purchased are new railings. So we went ahead and bought aluminum ramps, like I said, and they don't mount correctly with the BigTex mount. If we hook them on here, they actually sit a 1/2 inch too low. So we purchased these railings, which are designed to sit right on here, and then it sits right on this angle, and it's a smooth transition to the trailer. These can either be welded, of course, or bolted down. I'm probably going to weld them down here, just lay a nice bead on it on both sides. I do have to cut them. I bought 2 of them, and you only see one right now. I'm going to measure where I need it to be, keep the same angle as this way it matches, and just cut it right here. And then this piece would pretty much just be a spare for something else, maybe another trailer or something like that. So we got a little bit of work for us installed for each other. Everything looks pretty good. As you can tell, there's some little imperfections on the trailer as when I did the stain, and also from the tires scratching trying to get on the trailer. But you know, this trailer is not going to be pretty. It's meant to just get the job done, quick and easy. All right, so we're going to measure this out to about 32 and a half. I think that should be good enough. So I'm gonna cut this about right here. This is 32 and a half. Cut this with the cutoff wheel, and then I gotta do the other side. So where's the other one? All right. Just a little quick eyeball measure. We say 32 and a half. So that would be a little bit further out, just to give me a spot to weld. Alright, so let me move this one out the way. We're going to do 32 and a half. Alright, draw a straight line. Alright, nothing like drawing with crayons. Easy. Alright, now before we get started, I just want to let you know that we do have this all mounted down securely. It's a little weak on this side, but you know, it's enough just so us to cut this mark. As you can see now, just to give you guys a heads up, I am in the verge of looking to get in the garage, hopefully. This is very small for what I need. We have a lot of stuff going on, and I cannot... Sorry, I'm trying to situate the camera. Damn it. This freaking mount. I cannot continue to keep working like this. It's very crowded. There's nothing I can do at the moment. We're in the stage of looking for the perfect spot. So stay tuned to see what we have installed on that end. Nothing soon, but one day we will be upgrading. So if you are watching, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned with us, and you will learn a few things as we learn together. So without that being said, we have the cutoff wheel, which it comes. I have bought this 1.5 battery. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's a good machine, but the battery doesn't hold for nothing. It tends to like to shut off on me if it feels any type of resistance or anything like that. I don't know if that's a safety thing or it's because the battery's too weak, but it could be very annoying. Alright, so the piece is finally cut off. It's not the straightest cut ever, as you could tell. There's the other piece on the ground. Save for that for another piece. Use that scrap metal for something. Now the one thing I do want to let you know is when you are cutting, you want your surface to be as flat as possible, just so you don't have any ridges while you're cutting. You know, this way it's not bouncing back at you or so. So I had used this little spacer to fill in that gap for this lip when I had it on the other side. This way I was able to have a nice mounted surface for me to cut. Just a quick tip. Alright, so we spent the afternoon, we cut the one piece to length. I got it hanging up on a tree right now, just spray painting in the corner over here. So as you can tell, we just put the first coat on. It's a little wet. It's a little short, but it's a perfect size. I could have did a little bit longer. And let me show you an example. What I thought about after I cut it, I could have did the whole length. So just cut it, and then this way it meets right in the middle and weld them together or something like that. And this way I would have had this little middle piece right here in case I do need to hook the ramp up. But I had used my lawnmower on this trailer previously, and from this length and that length I was able to get my lawnmower up here. So with this middle piece, I don't think there's any use for it either way. So I don't think I'm going to lose sleep over it. So now the next step is, while that one is drying in the corner, we're going to get this up in there and cut this one. Alright guys, so here we are. I gotta pull the welder out. We are here the next day. I finished up welding this one on here. Well, I actually just tacked welded on there. I do have to finish beading it on. I gotta lay a bead down here and on the opposite side, and then where the screws go, I just laid a bead in each one, just to hold it down in the middle. But other than that, this thing is on here, and then just a little bead on the bottom on each side, and this side should be good to go. Then just have to start on this one. We went ahead and painted already. I went ahead and painted the D rings. As you could tell before, they were just a regular steel, so I wanted to match, you know, of course, the trailer. So we are on our way to being done with the setup, and then hopefully we could try putting the car on. Alright, so as you can tell, you can take a look at the welds. You know, no judgments in the comments, please. I haven't welded in a long time, and I'm using this flux welder. My MIG welder is in the back, so I couldn't use that one, so we just went with the old flux. It's a little worse on this side just because of the gap that I had. I couldn't get a good angle to lay a nice bead. But I'm not going to make any excuses for myself. I'm not the best welder in the world. But should be enough for this to work. I'm debating on putting the bead right at the bottom if possible. Just because it could put like a little bit more support on this end, holding it down. But we'll see what's going on. Alright, so I finished putting the spot welds in here on each one, and as you can check the weld, this weld doesn't look too bad. It actually looks pretty good for my skills. And then I just got to finish up this one on in the corner, just lay a bead down right here. So we went ahead and welded the D-rings on the side of the trailer. Of course the welds didn't come out as great as they should be, but we're going to grind these down. They're hold strong enough. They're definitely decent. This side I went ahead and grind it down. Very smooth, you know. The bottom I ain't grind down yet. Again, nobody's going to see it but me, but it will hold. Alrighty, so we're all set, finishing up with the D-rings. We got everything painted, you know, everything's a little dirty from the flux welder. That's why you can see all this overspray, but all that's coming off. But I went ahead and just painted on it. You know, you can't even tell that, you know, these have been welded. I mean, again, it's not the best thing, but they will hold. Now my next objective is, I'm thinking I have 2 more D-rings right here, and I'm thinking about adding them to the front of the trailer, but instead of doing them on the sides, I dropped one. Instead of doing them on the sides, I'm gonna do them like this in the front of the trailer. So this way, if I have to strap a wheel down, with my car, the wheel will be about right here. Instead of using those, I could pull straight. You know, it's a better way of tying down long term for safety purposes. So one will go there, maybe a little bit closer to this. Yeah, probably about right there. So, and then of course the other one would be on the opposite side. So I would say those would be the last 2 things we have to take care of. And then we should be good to go. One more thing I do have to do is this toolbox. It's going to find out I got the wrong size. The dimensions are okay, but the problem is with this type of jack, the jack would actually hit. I wouldn't be able to get a full turn, as I said previously. So I may have to get a sidewind jack. I may look into, or have to get a different toolbox for the trailer. Now, to be honest, these toolbox trailers are very expensive. This one was on a cheaper side. Not to say that cheaped out. They can be more expensive in the long term, as in $500–600. The goal is not to spend that much money on this trailer as for a toolbox, just because it's not going to get us anywhere. So we're going to do what we can. If I have to spend $60 and get a new jack, I will replace this jack. I wasn't really a fan of it anyways. It's only rated for 3,000 pounds. So when you do have a car on this vehicle or some sort and you're trying to jack it up or something like that, it is very tight. As if you had a, let's say, a 5,000 pound jack, it makes it a little bit easier. Watch your eyes. a new day. Nothing going on. We're just finishing up the video. Just wanted to let you know how everything turned out. We finished up welding all the D rings on there. As you can see, the welds weren't the greatest, so don't bash me too hard in the comments, but it should get the job done. We shouldn't have any issues with the welds holding, but I just want to give you a finished update. Everything turned out great. We're able to get the car on there. I haven't tried with the bumper on. I still have to do work on that, but right now the next goal is to drop this car at the shop. We need to get a wheel alignment for the back end. I want to get the back end straightened out. Of course, I wanted to get the front end just to make sure everything's all balanced. We raised the car up in the rear about 1.5 inches off the ground. There's definitely a big difference of clearance. Before you wasn't able to put your shoe under there. Now I could put a whole jack, a low pro jack under there, which makes life a lot easier, and it also makes it easier to get it onto the trailer itself. But just the finished product, everything's all painted. Again, I could have did a little bit better here and there. I can't complain though. Everything looks great. You know, there's just a little dirt here and there from and then here's the ramp channels that we installed. Now again, just as a clear finisher up, this is what the original mounts are meant for, and with the aluminum ramps that we have here, which are of course lighter, like I said before previously, they just lock onto this, and they did a great job. Again, the car is on here just as a test run. I just wanted to see how it will fit, and of course the last ones were the D rings in the front. If you want to look at the welds, this one wasn't too bad. Of course the backs are a little hard. What I should have did was take out the whole beam in the front, slide it up this way I could weld in the back, but for now I was to get a good angle on the front and the rear. Clearance wise, as you could tell from the side, you know, I don't have much clearance on this trailer. I could have moved it over a little bit over here, but it's just enough for it to fit just the car. The toolbox I haven't mounted yet, just because it's oddly, this beam sits higher than this beam. So when you put the toolbox on it, this one is actually teeter-tottered in the middle. So I have to figure that out if I want to just run a beam here and weld it for structural purpose. But other than that, we are all good to go on the road. So in a few weeks we'll be dropping this car off at the shop, and then after that we'll be really excited bringing this car to the tuner. So follow us along. We have a lot of things going on, a little time, but we make things work. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one.